What is happening, Bigger Pockets? This is Matt Fairclough. So a lot of people are talking about buying apartment buildings because they're great investments and because it's just a hot space to be in right now and because they're stable and because. So whatever your why is for getting into multifamily, wanting to buy your very first apartment complex, it's not a space that you can just jump into without having a few things in order. So what I want to talk about is things that you have to have in place before you go and look at your first apartment building deal. Once you've had these things in place, you're much closer to being ready to jump in there and do your own deal. So let's talk about number one, which is a team. Now, you may be able to be the lone wolf and go out and buy some single family homes on your own. And you probably could find a way to, even if you're self-financed, got your own cash, you could probably buy some single families, manage them yourself, find the tenants yourself, perhaps do smaller deals, mostly on your own. But on multi, you need a team. Your team in general. Now, you need to have this in place before you start looking at deals because these deals, because of the market that we're in, these deals will happen fast. If you find a good opportunity that you need to act on, you're not going to be able to say, hey guys, I'll be back in 3 months once I go build this team. Keep that deal there for me because I'll be right back. It'll probably be under agreement within a week if it's a good deal. So because of the market, you need to have a team in place. And these other two things you need to have in place as well before you go out. This is not a find a deal and then build this. Okay, the first team member you need to have is a lawyer. The reason why you need a lawyer is there's a lot of legal that goes on with these types of things. You need a lawyer that can set up your LLC and also file you with the SEC and make sure you're clear on SEC guidelines and make sure you're clear because you're probably going to syndicate this. You're probably going to, unless you're doing it with your own capital, that's okay too, but you still need a lawyer to set up your LLC, set up your operating agreement, and set up your company, and perhaps you need them to set up you through to make sure that you're compliant with SEC regulations, okay? You need to have a good CPA that knows how to run a tax return on apartment buildings because it's a different game. It's not the same as just running a tax return through as a W-2 employee or even a tax return for a single family home behaves different than a single family home than a tax return for an apartment building. It's a little different. And you can do cool stuff like cost segregation analysis, and you can have some fun with depreciation and stuff like that for apartments. So make sure you've got a really great CPA. Then make sure you've got a mortgage broker. We'll talk more about that in a second. Make sure you've got a broker, like a realtor, that can help you find deals. And you want to. This will come in when we start talking about one of the other factors here. But the brokers, multifamilies are not something that you can just go onto an MLS. You can go on LoopNet and find some deal. Believe it or not, there are deals on LoopNet still. But most likely, a broker is going to bring you something they've got in their own network that didn't even go out on LoopNet. So if you're not connected to a good broker, you might not even know about the deals that are on the market that you want to be in. And there's more team members such as a property manager. There's maybe people on your personal team, people to help you raise money, people that are going to underwrite the deal, people that are going to be the brains of the operation and do the asset management. But teams can be very big for doing multifamily deals. I know of no one that does this multifamily acquisition on their own. So make sure you've got a team of people that can bring a deal to fruition, to closing once you find one. Okay? Now, number two is you got to have the money in place, okay? Now, most people that buy apartment buildings are either self-financed, meaning they've got a large amount of capital they're going to put forth into a multifamily deal out of their own pocket and do it on their own. That's fine, that's great. Not everybody's doing that. A lot of people are raising money from a group of investors to do that. Now, my book, Raising Private Capital, talks all about how to do that. It talks about how to find capital out of your own network for people that you know already, people that like and trust you, that are looking for an alternative place to put their money. Raising Private Capital talks about how to assemble those and how to have those conversations and how to structure these deals, because most likely this is an equity deal. So Raising Private Capital talks about the equity piece, but it also talks most importantly about the SEC stuff, which you need to follow to do an apartment building deal or to do a large syndication of money. Okay, so check that out at BiggerPockets. Go to BiggerPockets.com/private money book, and there's probably a little clicky click on the bottom of this article here that you can check it out there. So you need equity, whether that's money you went out and raised or whether it's your own cash, and then you need a loan to do a deal. This is something that your mortgage guy is going to pump in, but you don't want to wait until you got a deal. And mistakes I see investors make is they don't talk to this mortgage broker until they have a deal lined up. You don't want to do that. You want to know what the terms are. What's a typical acquisition loan? Can you guys do something called a bridge loan, which is where you can buy a dilapidated apartment building, fix it up, and then refinance it? That's interesting. Talk to a mortgage broker about something called a bridge loan. It's got to be the right mortgage broker that knows apartment buildings, by the way. But if you're not familiar with that type of product, then you wouldn't know how to finance a multifamily that needs a lot of work. That's an interesting thing to learn about. You should have that conversation ahead of time, by the way, because then you can know what those terms look like, right? So that's the money, the money side, the equity, the loan. You need to have this lined up and ready to pump into a deal once you find one. The last thing you want to do is to find a deal and then go and try to raise money from people that you don't already have lined up on the sidelines waiting for you to find an opportunity. You want to find these folks, a handful, and say, hey, I'm going to go find multifamily deals. Here's a few that are on the market right now, examples. Perhaps use the BiggerPockets calculators to run some numbers on what those deals would have cash flowed at. Say, I'm going to find something similar to this. This is not the real deal. This is something similar to. If I find something similar to this and I offer you a percentage ownership of it, is that something you would be interested in? And they will say yes, or they will say no. If they say yes, then you go forth and find something, and you got them waiting for you on the sidelines. The third thing you need to have lined up is a market. Okay, and I mean, I've met people at networking events where they say, yeah, I'm going to buy a multifamily. And I said, that's great. I'm excited for you. What markets are you shopping in? And one person told me, I'm shopping in 30 markets right now. And it's like, you're not, actually. Now you're just on shotgun approach. You're all over the place. So you want to know what markets you're targeting. And at first, this could be a small market, maybe just one. Or maybe once you've done a deal or two, you can up it to two to three. The reason why you want to define your market is a lot of these folks are market specific. Your property manager is not going to manage anything nationwide. They're going to be regionally specific. So if you decide that you're going to shop in Albuquerque, New Mexico, well, there's probably a few property managers, maybe 5 to 6, that you would consider having managing an apartment building for you in Albuquerque in that MSA. Additionally, the broker that you work with is going to be market specific too. So you want to get to know who the broker players are, who the property managers are, once you've determined the market that you're going to shop in. The biggest mistake that you could make is by trying to shop everywhere in the US and just looking for a deal that makes money. You'll end up stepping into a pitfall if you do that. I recommend that you pick 1 to maybe 3 markets, hopefully something close to you geographically. I get some of you guys might live in parts of the world where it doesn't make sense to buy multifamily in your geography. That's fine. Find a place where maybe you used to live, or maybe you have some contacts, a place where you've got some boots on the ground that can help you. Team, right? I forgot to mention that. Boots. What boots is our people. We have boots on the ground, and we own multifamily in markets that are not anywhere near our office. I've got several properties that I have to get on an airplane to go see, but that's okay because I got boots on the ground. I got local people that are either local owners or getting compensated one way or the other that either invested in the deal or are bird dogs that help me find it, or on the GP side, or making money on the deal somehow because they live close to the building. So if you can find people like that, find yourself some boots that are willing to take action for you to go forth and meet somebody, or to go forth and look at a deal, or to look at opportunities, or to be your legs in a local market so you don't have to go jump on an airplane every time an opportunity comes up. Boots are extremely important, and it's really important to have that in place as you start looking for deals. Okay? This is it, guys. Again, there are a few other things that need to get considered, but team, money, and market are the top 3 that I think that you have to do your first multifamily deal. Now, I'd love to get into a chat with you guys down in the comment bar down below. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I intentionally missed something, so we can have a chat. Who knows? Be sure to check out my book, Raising Private Capital, and I appreciate you guys watching, and have a great and profitable week.